Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Tristan Barrocks here, the Digital Storyteller, and I am super excited to be with you once again for another episode of not Story Over Everything, but my Livestream Mondays. Livestream Mondays is something I've been doing now since the start of the year, and this is, I think, our fourth or fifth Livestream Monday. I'm not really sure exactly what it is, maybe sixth Livestream Monday. It's happening on a holiday Monday. Today is the 17th of February, and if you are in Canada, it is Family Day weekend. If you are in the States, it's President's Day weekend. So for those of you that are alive and well, just hit me up in the comments, say what's up, say how you doing, drop a line. If you're watching this on the replay, just type in #replay. But for those of you that have never been a part of the Livestream Mondays, what I do here, actually, let me introduce myself first. My name is Tristan Barrocks, and I am the Digital Storyteller, and I love to educate people and inspire people and challenge people on how they can make and tell their own stories. And I do that through a few different ways, through obviously one-on-one conversations, but then also creating spaces like this so that we can have conversations where people can ask honest questions, ask questions that they want answers to and solutions to. I've been in the film and television industry and the storytelling industry really all my life, but if you want to say professionally, I've been in the industry for over 20 years, first as an actor and now as a filmmaker, digital storyteller. So I am all about sharing my knowledge. I'm all about spreading the wealth and really being able to allow people to feel empowered to share their stories. So that being said, there are a few things that I want to kind of share with you guys really quickly because I thought it would be beneficial for you guys to at least have a look at some of the things that are going on in the next couple of weeks. Now, for those of you that don't know how this works, I get all my questions from you guys. You guys either DM me or you send me a question through the form section of my website. So if you bear with me for a moment, I'll show you where that is. So if you go to tristanbarrocks.com/questions, you will be met with this happy smiling face picture of myself smiling, and then down here there's a low contact form, and all you have to do is just put in some basic information and then drop me a line, send me a question, and I will be sure to answer that question for you, either privately or publicly, depending on the nature of the question, and definitely keeping it storytelling related and driven and focused would be appreciated. The other thing that I'm doing and I'm excited about as well is I have a Patreon account, and for those of you that don't know what Patreon is, it's a website where you can support different creatives and different initiatives that creatives are doing. So for myself, I'm obviously doing all this for free on my own, just out of my own volition. And if you are loving the content, if you appreciate the content, if you appreciate the information that I'm disseminating, then you can be a supporter, a digital supporter. There are also some other tiers with some other perks that you can definitely check out. And if you want to check out the information, just go to patreon.com/Tristan Barrocks. Lastly, but not least, we are coming up to our first photo and video walk of this year, which is happening on the 23rd of February, which is this coming Sunday. So this coming Sunday, we're going to meet up in Liberty Village. I have a model ready. I'm going to bring some of my lighting equipment as well as some of my video equipment, and we are going to tell stories. We're going to try and go and take some photos in and around the area and be as creative as possible. We have a few people that have already registered, but for those of you that have not registered yet, feel free to go ahead and hit me up, either directly by DMing me or just going right to the website and looking up the information here. I'll actually drop the link right into the comments section so that you guys can have an opportunity to go right to that link. So I just dropped it inside the comment section. So feel free to ask me any questions with regards to that as well. We are meeting up at 2 p.m. sharp, and we are starting at 2 p.m. going to about 4:30, and then depending on how we feel, we may grab a bite to eat and kind of talk a little bit about some of the things that we created during that session. So that's really, really exciting. Now, that being said, we are at the point now where we are going to be talking about some of the questions that have been submitted in. Now, for those of you that did submit questions, I really do want to say thank you. I appreciate all of the interactivity and all the feedback with regards to the live stream Mondays. I feel like they've been growing steadily, and people have been continuously giving me more feedback about how to do it better, more efficiently, and just so that it's more customized to the actual audience. So I'm hoping that as I grow, you grow with me, and feel free to let me know if there's any sort of information or any sort of things that you feel would make this even more better than it already is. That leads us to the first question of the day, which is, let me just jump over here to the question of the day. Give me a second here. The first question of the day is, what motivates you to keep doing photo and video? And that comes from Kellis. Kellis is a Instagram follower, and I do appreciate that, Kellis. What motivates me to continue doing photo and video? Well, the real motivation is that I don't look at what I do as just photo and video. I really look at it as telling stories. So the passion comes from telling stories, and really the tools that I use are photography and videography, or photography and cinematography. Those are really just extensions of my passion. But even when I was an actor, I was still telling stories. It's just that I was using acting as the vehicle or the vessel to tell those stories. When I was growing up on the choir and we were singing, gospel songs and church songs and hymns, we were using the choir and the music as a vehicle to tell stories. But the storytelling aspect of things and the passion that I have for storytelling is really where everything comes from. So a lot of times I tell people, it's not that I'm necessarily jumping from different thing to different thing every couple of years. It's just I'm just realizing that there are different mediums and different platforms I can use to do what I love to do, which is tell stories and connect with audiences and connect with individuals like yourself and others. So when we're talking about what motivates you or what motivates me, I really always go back to what you're good at and what you're passionate about. A lot of people sometimes have a hard time figuring out, what am I passionate about? What am I really good at? And I always tend to tell people, do as much as you possibly can. And what I mean by that is, if you say that you're interested in being a photographer, but you don't know what kind of photography you want to do every type of photography. Try out different things. See what works for you, what doesn't work for you. When I was starting out in terms of doing more photography, as well as getting into sort of the full-time aspect of being a digital storyteller, I took on a whole bunch of different projects that I realized, in the middle of it, that I really didn't like doing. But I did it anyways to get the experience, number one, but then number two, to understand who I was as a creative, to really understand how my brain worked, how I was wired. And I would say the same thing for you. You got to kind of put in your 10,000 hours, right? Has anybody heard of the 10,000 hour rule? This whole idea of 10,000 hours goes back to a thought that says, if I focus in on any given discipline or focus or lock in on any sort of skill or any sort of trait for 10,000 hours, and I put in 10,000 hours and I concentrate my effort on that skill or on that gift or on that area of expertise, then I can become an expert. Now, again, we don't really know who came up with the 10,000 hour rule. I'm not really sure who did, but there's a principle behind that, meaning it's not saying that you have to just only do black and white photos. If you're into photography, or if you're doing video, you can only do wedding videos or whatever else. But what the principle of it is that if I focus hard enough on one area of discipline and give my 10,000 hours, my life to that, or at least my energy to that for 2, 3, 5, 8 years, I will become an expert on that. But not only will I become an expert on that, I will become an expert on who I am as a creative and what my voice is as a creative. So it's not just about, this idea of you just picking something cool to do, or something that you kind of like to do, but you don't really know if you want to do it. It's really about saying to yourself, okay, what are some of the things that I'm really gifted at? And then what am I willing to dedicate myself to for at least a good period of time, a year, 2 years, 3 years, to see where it takes me? Because you're never going to really see things in a month or 2 months or a couple of days, a couple of weeks. You have to really dedicate yourself to something for a good period of time in order to know what it is that you really love to do, what it is that your purpose is, and what your passion is. And that will all be fuel that helps motivate you from day to day. Because the reality is that if you don't know what motivates you and what inspires you and what keeps you passionate, then it's going to be hard to wake up and do whatever that thing is that you've chosen to do. It now just becomes another thing that you got to get done, instead of something that you're passionate about, that really gets you going and gets your juices flowing. For me, that's storytelling, and that's what motivates me. So thank you for that question. And he also had a follow-up question, which was, if you weren't in this industry, what career path would you have taken? If I wasn't in digital storytelling, filmmaking, what other industry would I be in? I think I would still be in the film industry. I'd be an actor. I really would. That's my first love. That's my first passion. Before I even started anything to do with filmmaking, going behind the camera, editing, anything like that, I was acting first. I was an actor first. And the thing that I enjoyed about acting was the idea of being able to play somebody new, somebody fresh, somebody different, right? And not being stuck in just the reality that I actually live in as a person, as Tristan Barrocks, but then creating a new reality out of that. And not just creating a new reality, but then also being able to bring the audience into that reality and giving the audience a different experience and a different perspective on life. I think that's the thing that really, really gets me going when it comes to acting, is that I get to become somebody different, but then I also get or allow people to have a different perspective. And a lot of times people don't understand that. They don't understand the value of that. They don't know how that can be not necessarily monetized, but how you can get a person that's watching you doing something fictional and get them to see the world in a different way. But we do it all the time, right? Whether it's with television shows, whether it's with documentaries, whether it's with books, whether it's with podcasts. So acting is no different. So that's what I would be doing. I'd probably be doing acting. I think option 1B, or I guess, 1A would be acting. 1B would be probably a chef, probably a cook. I really, really like cooking. I love cooking. It's a passion of mine. I like barbecuing the most, grilling up meats and things, but I also like creating interesting new dishes for my family and my friends. I just like hosting parties and doing that sort of stuff. So it would still be an extension of creativity. It would just be in a different package or using different tools. So, I mean, for the most part, those are the two sort of areas I think that I would probably be in terms of the industry. The question I have for you is, what motivates you? What are the things that really inspire you to go? And then number two, the same question I would ask. If you weren't in the industry that you were in today, what industry would it be? What would you be doing? What do you think would make you happy today if you weren't doing what you were doing, if you weren't filming or editing or YouTubing or vlogging or composing music? What are those things that you think you would be doing other than that? And I mean, outside of that, I want to let you know that I am coming out with a really, really cool project that's going to be dropping on Wednesday. And it actually is all about, for those of you that are YouTubers or digital content creators, visual storytellers, digital storytellers, you really like this project. I'm actually creating a video that is a massive video. It's actually a video that's going to be speaking about sort of the top 7 or 8 websites that I use and that I have found that have the best royalty-free music. And the reason why that's important is because we all, at some point or another, we all want to use royalty-free music. And what is royalty-free music? I'm glad you asked that. Royalty-free music is basically music that you can use for projects, for YouTube videos, for client videos, for documentaries, films, all that sort of stuff, where you pay a set fee, whether it's a membership fee or it's a price per song, and then you don't have to pay additional royalties or additional music licensing fees after the fact. The way the industry works right now is if somebody does a voiceover, or if I use a Beyonce song, every time that song gets played on my commercial or gets played through streaming on a video I created, Beyonce gets paid for that. That voiceover actor gets paid for that. Those are called royalties, royalty checks. You may have heard of that. If a TV show like Friends goes into syndication, all of those actors that worked on that one episode for 2 or 3 days still get the residual income of the value that they put into creating that episode ongoing. Now, every time that it plays, they get less and less money, but they in perpetuity pretty much get paid no matter what and get checks no matter what. So that being said, going back to the original point, when you're dealing with royalty-free music, you pay one set fee for the membership or one set fee for the ability to use this music for specific projects, and that's it. You don't have to worry about paying anybody ever again, unless unless the agreement specifies if it goes over this much amount of money or if it gets this much amount of exposure, et cetera, then you may have to pay something extra. So that's really exciting because I really wanted to. A few years ago, I made a video about all of the best royalty-free websites, royalty-free music websites, and that really got a lot of play, and people were really excited about just the content and being able to learn about new platforms. And I'm really excited about doing it again and creating this content and releasing this video, because I think that it would be really helpful for a lot of content creators that are kind of like in between, kind of thinking, I don't know which website to use, or I don't have a lot of money. I can't pay for 10 different memberships. What are the 2 best ones that fit sort of the type of creator that I am? So those are some of the things that we're working on right now. I would love to know your thoughts, to know if you have any questions for me. And just if you are watching this on a replay, please just type in #replay, where you're from, whether it's Toronto, Chicago, LA, France, Germany, Russia, wherever you are from. Hit me up. Let me know what your questions are, and let me know that you're watching from wherever you're watching from. All right. Thank you so much. This was a quicker sort of live stream Monday. I want to get back to the family, but I do want to say that I do appreciate you guys, appreciate the support. And I see you guys. I see you guys watching. I see you guys interacting. I see you guys commenting. So if you guys have any sort of specific questions for me, remember you can go to tristanbarrocks.com/questions, or you can DM me through my social media @TristanBarrocks on all my social media platforms. Until the next time, peace.